The question, how easy is it to learn the guitar? Much as with other instruments, it's important that you approach learning the guitar with decent equipment and good form. It's much easier to get started happily and productively if you play an instrument of reasonably good quality. It doesn't have to be a pro-level guitar, but avoid the ubiquitous $99 special. Spend a little more on your starter instrument, and work with a guitar technician to make sure it is set up well. If the guitar's action is comfortable, clean, and responsive, if the neck and hardware allow for correct and durable intonation, and if the instrument is capable of a decent tone quality, you'll be motivated to go farther, faster. I'm convinced that crappy, poorly set up equipment is responsible for a great deal of beginners' frustrations. You want a guitar that's a partner rather than an obstacle, and it doesn't cost a fortune to obtain that. Just a little discretion and know-how. Play with some attention to solid physical fundamentals. Be mindful of good general posture, comfortable and healthy hand positions, and the basics of fretting and picking technique as required by the styles you're endeavoring to learn. Be slow, conscientious, and diligent in the first miles of your journey. A teacher, even just a casually knowledgeable friend, can really help with spotting and pacing your work in the earliest stages. For me personally, a professional pianist who enthusiastically dabbles in guitar playing, picking up guitars and getting accustomed to handling them on a basic level was somewhat uncomfortable. It took a while for me to adjust to the nature of guitar physics, if you will, and I found that paying close attention to the equipment I use and to the remedial, rudimentary aspects of ground floor technique was invaluable in accelerating my progress. The rest was mostly a sort of mild, prolonged physical conditioning. For one case in point, I eventually found that I had been having mechanical troubles because I had started out with guitars whose necks did not suit my small hands and short fingers. When I switched to a 3/4 size dreadnought and the slim neck Gibson SG, I really began to take off, and after a lot of practice with those instruments, I now find myself much better equipped and comfortable in handling larger guitars as well. I also had a guitarist point out a slight but, as it turns out, crucial error in the posture and carriage of my arm and hand which, when corrected, allowed me to pick more clearly and efficiently than before. The improvement was apparent almost instantaneously, and has only continued from there. Little things can make a dramatic difference. Take advantage of any folks around you who know what they're doing and don't mind being helpful.